Welcome everyone to this briefing brought to you by the Israel Defense and Security Forum, IDSF. Today I traveled deep into the Shomron region of Israel to meet with the Director of Wartime Operations of that area, Lieutenant Colonel Tal Nir. We met in Elon Moreh, discussed the significance of the area and some of the issues that come up when the IDF operates in that region and operates in tandem with the Palestinian Authority. We traveled to Har Kabir, we traveled to Huwara, all in an attempt to really get a first-hand perspective on how this war is playing out in Judea and Samaria. Here's our conversation. Tal, it's great to be sitting with you here in this beautiful place, and you have a lot to do with the protection of this location and much of the region. So why don't you share with our viewers where we are and what your role is in the current war, and then we'll kind of speak more broadly.
Okay, so hi. We are in one of the most beautiful places in the Samaria, maybe in Israel, called Elon Moreh. We can have a great look on the outskirts of Shechem, of Nablus, right from here, from the balcony here. And this place, this community, is one of the first communities in the Samaria that was established all over the Samaria and Judea, the Judea and Samaria area. And like I said, it's a very beautiful place, has a lot of history, recent history, and also history for us as being in a Jewish people. And actually, one of the main thing I wanted to tell you about what I do in my service. So actually, I have now two parts that I'm combining with. The main part is I'm the division engineering officer. Me myself, I'm a lieutenant colonel in the army and the reserves, of course. And the second part is I'm taking shifts as a director of wartime operations, which means actually we sit in the division command, and actually we work with the chief commander of the division, and we give him all the umbrella of the things that it needed in order to succeed in the war, the combat itself. We just finished a big operation. We just had a big operation in the northern of the Samaria, operation that we went to some of the largest refugee camps in the Samaria, such as Jenin, such as Tulkarem, such as Nur Shams, and also right over there in places like Tubas and Farah, etc., etc. The main goal was to make sure that there are no ammunition there, no explosive there, and to make sure that we actually find the terrorists and either kill them or catch them and bring them to trial in Israel. So it started in several places, several efforts, like we call it in the army, ma'amatzim. One of the effort was starting in Jenin, and the next one started in Nur Shams, actually Tulkarem, which is not far from there. And the other effort was right here, the eastern side of Shechem, if you can call it. So we went through house by house, and actually we searched for either terrorists or ammunition. And after that, we made sure that they were not able to come back to the camp and to take terrorist attacks from there. It was a very successful operation, although it's not finished yet, but now it's a little bit slower. But we found a lot of ammunition, more than hundreds of pistols, rifles, and of course explosives. Explosive laboratories. Okay, they're using the places such as mosques and schools and other places in order to hide their activities. And actually, there's a nice story that I wanted to tell you. Before the October 7th, before the war started, we had a big operation in Jenin called Beit Vagan. The sound of it sounds like Jenin, so that's I guess that's why they chose the name. And in this big operation, we saw in our cameras, okay, I sat next to the chief of the division, the commander of the division, which is now he's now the general of the whole central commandment. And we saw a terrorist group shooting at soldiers and getting inside in seconds, getting inside the car and running away. And they went inside one of the mosques in Jenin. We saw it. We had a drone following them, and we saw it. And back at that time, we wouldn't do anything since they went inside a mosque. So rules of engagement, we decided not to do anything. One of the first things that we did after the war started, when we got inside Jenin, is to go inside this mosque, and we found a lot of explosive there and weapons. And of course, we took everything that we could. But now, for example, this is after the war started. We're not afraid of using drones, etc., in order to kill those terrorists. Okay, so this is a very significant point that I wanted to mention.
And when you go into a mosque, what happens with the community when they see the army going into the mosque? What happens with the PA forces? Are they partners? Are they enemies?
I have to say that in most of the places now, the PA forces, they try to show that they're with us, they're working with us, because it is very important for them to show that they're in control. So if they help us, if they arrest some of the terrorists and give it to us, so for them it's a step that they're doing in order to make sure that they're in charge of the whole area. And of course they want to be in charge of Gaza as well. So from their side, okay, they make all the efforts in order to make sure that they work with the IDF. Okay, if it's enough, it's not enough. Of course, it's not enough, and we're supposed to be responsible for our security and not to give it to someone else, because we cannot trust anyone else.
So they're doing it as a show of power to their own people.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, when you receive intelligence or any involved in any operations with the PA, is there trust when working with them?
Usually it is, but mostly we try to not to trust on their intelligence, but to trust on our intelligence, because it's better and it's more accurate for us. Okay, so usually we try not to do that, although we try to work with them in several places, in some places. For example, we're staying here, we can see right from, not far from us, you can see the Joseph tomb, okay? And for example, if we want to enter Joseph tomb for civilian reasons, we need to cooperate with the PA in order to make sure that it's secured. So usually we do work with them, but not always.
And you're on the ground involved operationally with the PA. Seeing what you see here, if the PA were to be given responsibility in Gaza, good move or bad move?
This is my personal opinion, and my personal opinion, of course, it's not a good move, because if you give rifles and if you give weapons, and not to talk about ATVs, etc., to people that in their origins, they don't really want to cooperate with you because they don't want you there. So it could be turned into you, okay? So we don't want to do that. So in my opinion, it's not a really good thing to do, but we cannot trust anyone but IDF, and we have the best army in the world. I mean, I'm not just saying. I mean, we have the strongest army in the world, and there's no reason that we won't use it here, okay, to protect ourselves, because nobody can help us or protect us.
Absolutely. So you've spent a long time in this region, and there are, of course, beautiful communities out here. What are your thoughts on the relationship between the Israeli communities that flourish in this region and maintaining a level of security for the Jewish inhabitants and also the region as a whole?
Okay, actually, there are good relationship between the IDF and the communities here, and we have to have a good relationship, because the reason the army is here is only for the main goal. Okay, the main task is to protect the communities here, and by the fact that the communities are staying here, actually we're making sure that the rest of the country is secured. How come? How so? Because when the army is here protecting the area, we make sure there are no leaks, okay, and no terrorists can go out from here to the central of Israel. So the security is more tightened, and you can see that in places that, for example, in Sanu and places like that in the northern Samaria, that there's no army there. I mean, there's no communities there, so the army is not there anymore. Therefore, those places are more problematic today, because the terrorists can thrive there.
Tal, one of the very important things that you do at IDSF is you bring Israelis and people abroad across Israel, showing them the national security, the geopolitics, and the people and places of this land. And I think it's so very important what you do, because it's one thing to read about it in the newspaper, see it on a video, but to actually walk the land and see the locations is a game changer. Can you maybe share a little bit about that role that you
Yes,
play?
over the last year, we had dozens of tours around all over Israel, in the Gaza envelope, in Gush Etzion, in Yerushalayim, here in the Samaria, in the northern Samaria, up in the north, and also in the Jordan Valley. Tour groups that came from United States, from Europe, research groups that came here, and also Israelis, of course. And we give them a tour in IDSF. We give them a tour in a different perspective. We show them not only the country, but we meet them with high rent people from all of the IDF and intelligence and security in Israel. And also we take them to places to see in their eyes, in their own eyes, the conflict and the matters of security, of national security, the matters of national security that we speak about. Because I'm saying it's one thing to talk about things and to read about them and to read articles and read in the newspapers, or so it's one thing. But coming to the places that when it occurs and to actually see it in your own eyes is something that you can never forget, and you can grasp it better and understand it better after that.
So if you live in North America, Australia, South Africa, if you live in Europe, wherever you are, and you want to come to Israel and really get an experience of the security, of the geopolitics, of the people and places of this land, get in touch with us. We're happy to put a tour together for you or join you on an existing tour that we have. And of course, if you live in Israel, you're an Anglo living in Israel, and you're looking for the insider's view of what's happening, also reach out to us, and we will really show you the places that you need to see.
You can see that village is called Tubas, like I said, and the village over there is called Farah, over there. The village of Farah, there's also a refugee camp over there, a very, very dangerous refugee camp. We went there to discover all the explosives that they put there. Usually what they do, they put explosive beneath the pavement, beneath the road itself. So we go there, what we call a brick, an engineering brick, we call it. We go with one tractor, the D9, and after that, a different tractor, a shuffle, that the D9 is scraps all the route itself. Okay, and after that, the shuffle is making everything straight, so the rest of the forces could go there. So naturally, we found a lot of explosive, but the D9 has a resistance for that. I mean, for this amount of explosives, and even though we get on an explosive detonation, but still the D9 can go through and make sure that the rest of the troops can go through. A week and a half ago, the army made an operation, and they made sure that all the tractors that they have in Gaza, that they received from Egypt during the war, during the humanitarian support, so we made sure that they have no tractors, because after that, I mean, if they have tractors, so it's not a game changer, okay? But the D9 itself from Caterpillar is very resist, and we bring it over here to Israel, and we make sure that we armor it to our needs, and we know exactly how to armor it, but this is something secret. And also now they're developing now that a D9 that works on remote control. So this will save more lives, because eventually we want to save lives. That's what we're doing here. So we're standing here right outside of the Huwara village. Huwara village is normally a peaceful village, but there were some incidents and terrorist attack that happened here. One of them that people used to, the communities used to go from the Binyamin area to the Samaria area through the village itself. There was through the main road of the village, and in some cases, terrorists just used the traffic jams that was there in order to shoot at people. And also there was a story about two brothers, that a father and a son, that came here one Saturday in order to buy some from one of the markets, or to wash their cars, I think. And what happened, a terrorist came to them and shot at them and killed them. Alan, תודה. שוכרן. חג שמח, שוכרן. Okay, so you can see the people here are, some of them or most of them are very friendly, but in order to prevent all the terrorist attack, they opened a large detour that you can see, a bypass over there that you can see, and after that you can see it on the footage. And another incident that happened, that after the war started, one of the pizza factories, one of the pizza shops over there, they had an advertisement that they took one of the old hostages, one of the old hostages, the women hostages, they took her picture and they put it on their ad. And as a response to that, what we did in the IDF, we went there and we ruined their pizza, because this is an act that we say that we're not forgiving even small things like that, and we're not going to be quiet about that and not do anything. So we ruined the pizza, and of course for them it's a big loss. So this is the village of Huwara.
Thank you to all of our viewers and supporters for tuning into this briefing. If you learned something today, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing this channel on YouTube. We will be back with you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. here in Israel. Until then, stay safe, stay strong. Take care, everyone.